Hello everyone and welcome back to Starfighters Italia for a very special English language feature. Bentornati su Starfighters Italia, stasera abbiamo un episodio di tenore internazionale, infatti come vedete mi è toccato mettermi anche la camicia nonostante sia piuttosto business casual. In inglese con degli ospiti assolutamente straordinari. Stasera abbiamo con noi il team XTC Italy, recente vincitore dell'XTC 2021. Today, among our guests, we're going to have some members of the XTC Team Italy 2021 that recently won the Team Championship World Cup, how do you want to call it? So, they're going to be here soon. In 3, 2, 1, partiamo con la sigla. As usual, there's already viewers following our live stream. There is our good friend Alessandro Vito, the most famous commentator of the XTC 2021, and now honorary member of Team Malaysia, as far as I've seen. And obviously, we got Zem, who's desperately asking to be let in. But tonight, we're not going to have Zem. Hopefully, he's going to be a guest soon in another episode. Tonight, we have one of the best. Possibly, somebody says he's a pretty good Imperial Aces player. Tommaso Los.
Hi all, guys.
Hello, Tommaso. Alessandro is saying, hello, Campione del Mondo. It's a me, Campione del Mondo. But the real guest of honor, ladies and gentlemen, is the new champion of the people, the new hero of many worlds, because 2 worlds are not enough. The only, the inimitable, the very Italian, the man who hates pineapple on pizza, Giovanni Raviolo di Rauso.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here. Yeah, I think Champion of the People is too generous. We all know that that title belongs to another person who's going to come later this night. So, yeah, hello, everyone.
So, we expect to have the former Champion of the People, Alessandro Zaramella, first order player for Italy this year, joining us in, I don't know, about 20 minutes to 1 hour because he was late from work. Captain Marco De Scordilli should join as soon as possible, and eventually Coach Michele Zanco will join as well, but only if I send him the link, that I haven't done so. So, just give me 1 second, because I completely forgot about inviting the coach. There we go.
Yeah. He's going to be upset about it.
Yes, he's totally going to be upset. Because we all know that his contribution was instrumental to the success of Team Italy. Ok, so who do we have here? Alessandro Brunero. Che non è l'altro Alessandro, forse Alessandro Binosi, probabilmente l'altro. Vito che ci dice Raviolo mangiali tutti. So,
Vito. Yeah, Vito was the best commentator. We could have hoped for the whole XTC duration. Like, I was in vacation during all of July, basically. I was out of town and I followed the games streamed with Vito's commentary, and they were something else, completely something else. So a big contribution to Team Italy this year is Vito Mazzotti, for sure.
Also, for those who are not aware of this, Vito was part of the Pagellisti team that basically decided to give a grade, a vote, to all the players of Team Italy each week of the group stage, then at the end of the group stage, and then after each day of the final event. If you want to read the players' grades, just tune in to starfightersitalia.com in a few days. They're going to be published live since the event is finally over, I will say, and then you are allowed to see publicly the grades. Okay, so yes, the Pagellisti are the real champions of the event. I honestly wished that the Pagellisti could do grades for every team for the whole event, but maybe next year they might be hired to give grades to the whole event. Okay, I'd say that we should start with some questions, even if the team is not present, and especially because the captain is not present, so you are completely free to answer whatever you like.
And you're completely free to talk badly.
Exactly.
Let's take this family friendly. Let's keep this family friendly. You can talk badly about the captain's list.
I can I can give Shizzle to Captain Marco Discordini as long as he's not online. So my first question is, starting with the assumption that Giovanni, I think you played one game in the group stage because you were subbing. Did you play one game?
No, I didn't play at all in the group stage.
Okay,
I
you
was
only subbed.
Yeah, I subbed in for the final event, and because Lorenzo had to attend to a wedding, and honestly, I'm glad he did because he had a good time, and I had the occasion to prove myself.
While
So,
Tommaso played both the group stage and the final stage, correct? So, okay, my dog has just appeared. For the sake of the history of this tournament, Tommaso played Imperial Aces. Oh, here we have Mr. Alessandro Zaramella. Mr. Alessandro Zaramella, that is directly live, the true champion of the people.
Ciao a tutti. Hi everyone.
So, we were saying that Tommaso played Imperial Aces, Giovanni played the Rebels in the final event, changing the squad from the group stage to the final event, while Alessandro, that just appeared, played First Order in both the group stage and the final event.
Best faction ever.
Like I could hear like a smidge of irony in what Alessandro just said, but it could be just me.
Yeah, it was sarcasm actually, but I played the same list like in the group stage and in the final stage, First Order. Yeah, nobody wants to play First Order, so somebody had to take the short straw.
You were offered on the sacred fire of playing the First Order. That's fantastic. Yeah. So, I'll start with some generic questions while we wait for your very lazy captain that is seemingly held back at work. A global question for everyone is, you faced, as a team, 7 teams in the group stage and then 9 more in the final stage. You faced, I think, Singapore twice, because obviously they were both in the group stage and in the final stage. But for each one of you, which one was the most challenging team to confront in the event? Starting from Tommaso, should be here.
That's an interesting question. I think the teams against we struggled the most was surprisingly Switzerland, because that round it was like we were collapsing and everything was going down, and it was won to basically the last turn from the champion of the people as usual. And I think that we suffered a bit from some unconventional list from Switzerland who were actually not that bad. And
you
I'll say Switzerland.
Giovanni, which one was the most challenging?
So I can only speak for the final event, and I think what Tommaso said was true. It doesn't apply to me because I was fairly confident in my matchup against Switzerland. But I guess in my mindset, like I was the most scared about USA. So I think this is a good moment to talk about our pairings. Like we managed that. Basically, we had a scale from 1 to 5, or how likely we were to win against a certain matchup. And my matchups against the USA were terrible. Like for Alessandro, they could have been like any other day of the week. For me, they were really terrible. So I was kind of
call this Tuesday.
Yeah, and to be honest, my game against Steven Cutillo was streamed, so it's viewable, and it was a very interesting match decided by the last shot, basically. So
because that flip flopped like with 1 point of difference. I was spectating at a certain point, and it was like so 126 to 125, and then 127 to 126.
I was very confident in my engagement. Like I engaged pretty well, I dare to say, taking what I think were acceptable losses. Like, oh, so cute. And I didn't make a dent in Steve's list in the first engagement. Like, shooting with all I've got, I did 0 damage to a single strider. So that was tough. But yeah, it was an interesting match in the end.
Yeah, but still, I think you can also speak, like, you've been part of the team also during the group stage, even while the others were playing.
Okay, so what I felt during the group stage, like, we were kind of scared about Singapore. And I think that not like scared, because scared is not the term we should use, but
Afraid?
we were so much focused on Singapore and Poland, which were round 6 and 7, that we went, I think, into Norway kind of, feeling a little smug. And yeah, they kicked us. So 4-3. That was tough. Made for some interesting round 6 and 7. So yeah, I think Singapore in the group stage.
That added spice to the
Yeah,
rest,
a little bit of
the
salt.
group
Yeah.
stage. Alessandro, what about you? Even if it's seemingly you can't lose a match.
No. Well, I mean, I don't know. For me, it was like pretty much like all the game that I was playing. They were like quite tight game, because I mean, we knew that with the first order, the list was like in some kind of way was like inferior to the other like top meta list. But at the end of the day, as I said, all my games were like really close. So I cannot really point out like one that was like closer than another one. But I think that psychologically, the worst game was the one against Switzerland. That was like, in my opinion, Switzerland and USA were like the turn point for our victory, because if we would have lost against Switzerland, we would probably like just like mentally drop. And winning against the USA, considering the pairing that we had like quite bad pairing against USA, was like a big thing. And I think that USA totally did not expect to lose against us, especially after like the pairing.
Yeah, and especially 5-2. Like, that wasn't the casual 4-3, which is an indicator of a very tight series. There was a 5-2. Yeah, it could have gone 6-1, I think.
Yeah, any difference in that game, if USA managed to just lose like 4-3, they would have won the tournament, because obviously they had like one more and we had one less. So in the direct match, one more win or loss is like it counts double. So yeah.
It was an interesting final ranking, because the 3 top teams were placed all at was it 7 wins?
7 and 2.
Yeah, 7 wins.
7 and 2. With each other having beat another one in the direct head-to-head distances just by 1 match win. This led to a discussion about the tiebreakers that, just for full disclosure, they were all agreed much earlier than group stage itself by captains. So the captains were very aware of how the tiebreakers went, from team wins, some of individual wins, head-to-head, and then eventually SOS and MOV. But it would have been really hard to arrive to the 4th.
I feel that's a fine tiebreaker system. I don't know what could be said about it. Yeah, I think individual wins should matter something, because if you win 7-0 against another nation, that should matter something.
Exactly. That's the principle.
I think that for this specific tournament, this was like the best tiebreaker, because everyone was playing against everyone. So there wasn't like any discussion about, but we always played against like the strongest team, and whoever arrived like with more singular wins played against like less strong teams because maybe they've been like paired down, up, or whatever that kind of discussion was. I mean, in this event, there was like literally nothing that you can say because everyone played against everyone. So I cannot really see why it should have been like different tiebreakers.
No. It was not to have different tiebreakers. It was just to discuss how the tournament would have gone. And my takeaway was that the order of tiebreakers was fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. I think
one doubt was maybe could have been before some of individual wins, and I would say yes if the teams played a regular Swiss tournament where the more you go on, the stronger team you play. Then it would have made sense. In a round robin, I agree with what Giovanni said that the amount of wins should matter, because if you table 7-0 another team, then it means
like
that you
I don't want
really
to,
well.
I don't want to put down anyone, and that's a bold statement to say before making another one. And but like everyone had the chance to play against the 10th team. Like if they came in 10th, they were kind of the weakest one within the 10. And everyone had the same chance to score as many points as they could against them. So it's not like, you were lucky because you found the last one in your first match, and then I didn't find it, so I couldn't have that chance. I played against stronger opponents. So I think the fact that there was a round robin, like it just equals the
equals the odds.
Yeah, equals the odds. Yeah, it's just I think that was fine. Yeah.
So just before the live stream, Giovanni pointed out that you played a lot of games in general, but specifically in the month leading to the final stage, summing up to about 2 games per day, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Because when Lorenzo wasn't sure if he could make it or not, so when he in the end he said it. Oh, yeah, that's my girlfriend. She said Pantana because there is a little country named Pantana Gianni, and my name is Giovanni. So that's a nice thing to do. Anyways,
we have the new name for the team T-shirt.
And so getting back on what you said, so I had 1 month to prepare, and while in the group stage you had 1 week to prepare for your matchup, and that was decided beforehand. I had all these teams, 9 teams with 7 lists each. So that amounts to 54 possible matchups, some repeating. So I had to put some work in. And I think my training paid out. Like I have to thank Tommaso here. I played a lot against Zemotto, against Mattia Scarsi from Giochi Corsari, and against Alessio Scarfone from TNT. Yeah, so many people helped me in that endeavor.
Tommaso lost that we would like to state that is officially a component of the Starboards because he has a T-shirt. So that's official. I'm sorry, Ines. I'm sorry. So, Tommaso and Alessandro, you obviously played in both stages. How did you lot prepare for the various matchups? I assume by playing a lot.
This is an understatement. Playing a lot. This is an understatement. Well, I mean, we play like pretty much like all together, but during the group stage, personally, I was playing like in average like between like 10 and 20 games per week, something like that, in preparation of my game. It was it was mainly because if you have like a list that is like, I mean, if you have like a not very good matchup, you need to try to perfection everything of your game plan, and try to basically get like as soon as the opponents made a mistake, get the chance. And so in the group stage, it helps me a lot. Because without all that game played before, I wouldn't probably perform as I did with the first order. And I pretty much know that quite a lot of my teammates did the same, even if their matchup was like, a good matchup.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just latching on to that, Alessandro had quite an infamous game, we could say that, against a resistance beef. And basically, I think he trained that matchup so well that he kind of knew that engaging was the worst thing he could do. Because the resistance
Same
beef
here.
kicks like a horse, a maiden horse. So he just held back and he said, well, maybe at final salvo I have better odds of winning this than just engaging on the last round. So yeah, that's part of the training, I guess, Alessandro. I don't know if you're
Yeah, completely. I mean, knowing like was a gamble really that won against the resistance beef, but I knew 100% that I cannot win that game. Never in my life. If I'm gonna just joust that list, and I cannot do anything different if not jousting, because all my PS1 and he's got like all PS3. So whatever I was doing, it was literally like just jousting, and that list does joust very well. So at the end of the day, I just opted for not engaging and just rolling I guess 2 dice under in the final salvo, and I got lucky. But I probably tried that game I don't know many times with our resistance player that I think that probably is the guy that invented the list, and I have no doubts that he's like the best player of this list in all the tournaments. So I knew that
Mattia Mandurov is much stronger.
Sorry?
Mattia Mandurov is much stronger than Alessandro.
Yeah, well,
But it wasn't in the final stage. But
playing with playing against the best one, you know all the limit of your list and all the limit of his list, and it's just all part of the process.
Scusatemi se bevo come un cavallo, ma qua è un caldo che si muore.
And I played a lot of games against Tommaso too, trying quite a lot of games. And obviously, when we are talking about 20 games, we're not meaning an entire game of 1 hour and a half or whatever it's going to be, because pretty much many games, they just get decided in the first 3 rounds of shooting. And so we were obviously starting the game, see how to engage, what were the best option, etc. And just deciding the approach and how to manage the time. The time is a very important part of the game now, being able to manage the time.
And one important thing is that it helps trying the straight up joust and seeing if it works or if it doesn't. And we did that a lot. For example, with the scam list, try jousting and see how it worked. And sometimes it was working and sometimes it was not. And it helps knowing that in advance. And I think the group stage was very, very much different from the final stage from that point of view, because you know that your opponent could have prepared 5 to 10 games
or could not.
yeah. And
So,
for example, in my case, when because I was playing Echo, and not a lot of people have faced Echo in the recent times, and I find that very much different from the group stage to the final stage.
Speaking of preparation, I saw that in the usual thank you message for all the encouragement and blah blah blah, you guys thanked 2 particular things. Number 1 was the shadow team who helped you prepare, but then you also thanked another pretty important person, that is Coach Michele Zanco, that is usually the co-host of this podcast, I think, video podcast, but now is wearing the t-shirt of the coach. Hello!
Hi all. What were you?
Did you
What
shake?
was you speaking about? The preparation for the group stage, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, in general, the preparation for the tournament, because that's one thing that I wanted to show if I manage. 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
This one. That is a picture taken right after the end of the tournament.
Yep.
What I wanted to point out is that the teamwork made the dream work for real, because
Yep.
you guys prepared all together with the shadow team, composed initially by Eugenio, that then joined for the final stage as a sub, and many other players like who was there? Zem, Ryan, Alessandro Marmorini, like
Yes. Zem, Ryan, Marmorini. I think Giulio was the tester for Separatist versus Zara. Sometimes we had Paperino, that is Matteo Ruffilli, that proved the power of HMP versus Desco. And basically everyone that proposed himself to be as an help has been used as an help. So was a community winning indeed.
Yeah, it was
Because
community effort. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
A whole community effort, and a whole community effort brings a whole community winning.
Oh, and we have the last guest that has just joined us, possibly walking back from work because he just finished. That in addition to the coach, we also have the captain of the team right outside of work, it seems.
Maybe just finish an aperitivo.
Sorry for being late.
Live streaming from whatever hospital he works in, Marco Descordilli, captain of Team Italy. Okay, so welcome, Marco.
How is the show going?
Let's go. We were saying that you are like the worst player, and we just kept you there because it was bad.
I was there only as selectionist.
He basically was on the team just because he's the only one that want to play Republic in Italy, in the whole Italy.
To be frank, I wanted to play. I would have played Republic as well, but I think it takes a lot of self-hate to play that list in particular.
I can confirm.
Yeah. Flying 7Bs is stressful enough. Flying PS5 and 4 7Bs with no beat basically against beating opponents and trying to use Ahsoka to block. Yeah, that takes a lot of effort. And I think no one.
I think that Alessio Scarfone can confirm. It was like staying close to me during games. It was like seeing me swearing repeatedly. Like every time one of the 8 ships of the opponent was rolling like more than one evade, and then it was like half of my attack power is gone.
The nice
we
thing
can try
is,
again. We can try again in 3 rounds.
Yeah, the nice thing, Desco is the only one who managed to put 3 hits in a ship with 3 green dice, and that ship evaded 4.
Yeah,
like it's the only one who was capable of making Sunny Bounder. You put 4 in it. You put 4 in it. Yeah. So Sunny Bounder triggered.
I was quite happy because 4 with lock and focus, and then he just rolled 3 eyeballs.
Adds 1, reverts it off, and Sunny Bounder walks free. Yeah, that was massive. Like really.
I never saw Sunny Bounder works like that. Never.
Yeah. Also, he actually did also 3 hits with 2 dice, just to.
Yeah,
disrespect. Maximus disrespect.
At that point, you either go big or go home. Like, yeah.
The running joke in the judge team chat was that it took 3 years and Marco Descordilli to trigger Sunny Bounder.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Okay, so I have asked one pretty specific questions to Tommaso, Giovanni, and Alessandro, but I can kind of twist it for Michele and Marco, because I asked them which one was the most challenging team match in your opinion. What I would like to ask you two guys, which ones were the most difficult pairings to arrange and organize? Like to elaborate, maybe? Marco.
It's also interesting because actually we can start from the opposite, because like on paper the easiest pairings was against Peru and was actually the one we lost. So yeah, we were expecting to play well against all the beefy swarming lists, but we didn't do it. We didn't manage. And yeah, maybe the worst pairing for us maybe was between USA and I think Ireland. Don't know, Zanco, if you remember.
Well, you have the colors right now open, and it was definitely USA.
USA.
Yeah,
USA
from
was-
an average
I think that USA was the worst after pairings because actually we were playing against them with 4 losing matches.
Yep.
So definitely USA was the worst after pairings. Before pairings, maybe Ireland was the worst.
Yeah,
I think.
before pairing it was Ireland.
Ireland was on the paper was the worst situation, and instead after just the pairing have been done, I was counting points between our games, and versus the United States, I was really afraid of the final output of the game.
I think we were playing against USA with 4 losing, 1 winning, and 2 like open matches.
Yeah,
4 losing, 1 winning, and 2 50-50. So not a good situation.
I think that we lost the winning one.
Yeah, we lost one winning one, but it's good like that. But thinking also of the group stage, I think that we totally messed the fuck up. I don't know how versus Czech Republic. They were on paper very, 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 very hard for us, the pairings. But then we managed to pass through 6-1 and was good. But the lists were strange, but well think for a team situation, and they were good opponents.
Yeah, there
for
was
us.
like strange lists. So if you didn't have the time to try them, was maybe they were doing a lot better, I think. Because for example, HMPs, Kylon to Upsilons were all like difficult matches if you don't know what to do against them. So yeah.
Instead, without speaking of pairings, I think that our worst match in the final stage was Switzerland.
Yeah, we mentioned.
You are confirming what everyone else said up to now.
I think that I have lost 10 years of my age in the match versus the Swiss guys. Because
we were coming from the lost game against Peru, so we were like first loss of the day, first loss of the tournament. Maybe we were a bit nervous, and like things weren't going definitely our way. So
and there was kind of the writing on the wall for Switzerland, because I think they lost their first 2 games. So we were kind of nervous, like, are we really losing to Switzerland that is 3rd place? They's last place right now. So maybe we aren't that good. So there was something like insinuating in our mind that I think that showed like everyone was playing really nervous.
Yeah, I think that if we lose that game, our tournament is over.
Yeah, is what I said. Yeah.
We have to thank the guy that is sitting right here, because he won a suspicious match that was not able to win. I don't know how he managed
Red
to
match.
I was totally afraid because I was counting, and after half an hour of the start of the timer, I was 5-2 to the Swiss. Then 4-3 for them, and I was guys, we need another match. We need another match, and we were not able to find the situation.
Yeah, I remember my match. It was a nightmare. I was like firing everything, dice, everything. Like in Italy we say lanciavamo anche i lavandini, le vasche da bagno, scarpe.
Yeah.
We were throwing.
I wasn't able to do damage to the Thai FOs. So it was.
Yeah, in that match against Switzerland, there was a moment where I was scared because suddenly I realized that those resistance bombers that I think arguably are amongst the worst ship in all the game. I think it's tough to do worst. Those things had the advantage of attacking twice into my low initiative ships, and he was rolling fine. So I was really, really worried about the outcome. Then I managed to do a nice block, and like the bombers evaporated. But I was worried, and I remembered Zanco really being worried. Like I heard from him at the end of my game, and he said, "Yeah, and it's not looking good. We're missing the fourth." Yeah, I remember it.
I can put my money on the fact that he didn't look you in the eyes and said, "Giovanni, this is not looking good. We need a stroke of luck." I think he said something.
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, not that I know how he behaves. So.
I don't know if that's the case, but I think Zara won the worst matchup possible in all the tournament for him. Like the worst list he could face was the one he won against Switzerland.
What was it again?
It was Shark and Fleet.
3 Delta. 3 Delta 7 and Shakti with the Auto Blaster tech. So yeah, I don't know if it was like the worst one because probably the worst one. There were a couple that they probably are like worstest matchup overall. That is like Sloan Swarm, the English Sloan Swarm. I can't do anything, and the Matzi Beef. But after that kind of matchup, arguably the worst one was like 4+ Jedi. I don't know. I was like at one point I remember that Zanco came to me and said, "Oh well, we need another win," and I said, "Well, I'm not like exactly like
I'm not your man. I'm not your man."
Yeah, no pressure. But we need you to win.
No pressure at all. Now win.
As I
Also,
mentioned,
I think-
by the way, the thing was that. I mean, I know that I have like very few chance to basically get like Shakti, and I literally like kill her like on the second shot of the game. I one shot Shakti that was like without token, and she basically did not roll any evade. So that was like the turning point, and was like close to the end of the game. So without that mistake from my opponents, I wouldn't be able to do the point that I needed. You know.
Yes, consider that Switzerland made 16 victories, if I remember correctly, in the whole final tournament, and 3 were against us.
Yeah, 1/3. that sounds worse. Like 1/3 of them were against us.
Well, considering that they won the last game 4-3 against Germany, I guess. It means that half of their wins was against us and Germany.
Yep.
Roughly. Yeah, 7/16.
Yes. And that's quite strange, the situation, because we lost the matchup versus the Rebel list that was with the Thai, 2 Thais, 2 A-Wing and 1 Oak, and
that was a very strange list. Like,
was a very strange list. I think that Matteo was distracted during that match because he had to move the computer from one place to another place because he cannot stay where he was. He was distracted for them and totally messed up the match. And but it's not an excuse because we should have won 2 more matches in that situation, and we lost. We were about to lost, except for Zara, and that's good. But it was frankly the most difficult match of the weekend by myself. I was very, 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 very intense on that.
But I mean, fair enough. Even if the ranking at the end obviously showed that one, like Switzerland, finished 0-9, I think. They didn't win any match, maybe one.
One against Germany.
They won against
No.
Germany last game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, as far as I know, they just decide. I mean, they were at last game. They just decide to play like fun, and they just played all the mirror. So they managed to win against Germany last game.
Okay. While Ireland won 1 against Switzerland itself. I mean, even if the ranking showed that a few teams won a lot of games while others didn't win many, just to be clear, you were still playing against kind of like the 10 strongest teams on the planet. So
Yeah, exactly.
there was no given match.
No. And
No.
the fact that there were no 7 known on the table says that, because no 7 known, and I think very few 6-1 indeed.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
there's
very
been
good.
a few. I didn't
think
really
that
follow.
I think that 6-1 happened just like a couple of times in all the tournament, and then
So-
was like every time like 5-2 or 4-3. So really balanced.
Yep. Consider that we won versus France for 3/6 point in a match, so it was really super balanced. 3 points. 3 points.
3 points.
Yeah.
It remembers Desco, so was super balanced versus our Transalpine cousin. We won.
Alle bleu.
Alle bleu. We won very, very, very close also to Switzerland, of course. It was a really hard tournament. When we came out from the game versus United States, that if I remember correctly, we won 5-2. I was super happy because it was the
Unexpected.
how can I say the dividing the turning point of the tournament for us, because we gain the necessary points to be in advantage versus our direct followers that were at the time were the United States and then Singapore in the end.
Yeah, it was also the first match of the second day, so we were like super motivated after that.
Yeah,
because it was the time of the truth, when you see if you can manage to go in the upper side of
at that point we all thought it doesn't happen, but if it happens. Yeah.
Yep.
So speaking of preparation, many teams, in podcasts and videocasts and articles and stuff, addressed how they chose their lists and how they prepared for the matchups and stuff. I would like to go through these 2 points, starting from how you guys prepared to determine matchups and then the games. I think Tommaso has prepared a document.
Yes.
You can condividi il tuo schermo, condividi o programma o finestra se non era aperto. So
this was a living document. It actually was made, I think, around May of this year, and it got uploaded.
The first version was even before that. We had another
March.
Really early.
Yeah. So that's like a memorabilia from Team Italy. It's this document. we all still have the link to, so it's just accessible. And yeah.
Good. So to explain
I can-
what this document is, I think this is a tradition that started with the early ETC days of also other systems, of trying to rank how every player would match against another combination of player and list all along the tournament. Giovanni, feel free to pick up from here.
Yeah. So basically, everyone has a ranking, and like it's a grade that you give to an opponent's list, and basically you put a number between 1 and 5, and the colors kinda give up what happens. Basically, a 1 is a very unfavorable matchup, which you win 30% of the time, and you lose 70% of it. 2 is so less unfavorable, still unfavorable, so you just win it 40% of the time. 3, you win 50-50. 4, you win 60-40, and 5, you win 70-30. So it's not so like it's not like if you put a 4, it's not an auto win. So that's not it's not a granted win. And everyone put some colors. Like I think the first is Spain. Like you see, I had many open matchups against Spain. So and that helped our coach who were making the pairings to how to pair us against the opponent's list. Like I could play with kinda whatever. So that helps a lot. Basically, that's it. So you just kind of shoot for the best combination possible.
Marco,
We
you
were
were
like-
saying something?
We preparing the document like in more phases, because first one, obviously I prepared the document putting all the lists, and since we had a similar document from the group stage, in the finals we were like using the same scheme, and after putting the lists we had also all the links to the stream games if we were needing like to see how the players was playing that list, just for more info. And after that we started like putting the first version of these colors. We call them colors, like grading from red to green. And after that we were like updating the colors after each of the matches was like tested. So we had like a legend that indicated if the game was actually played or if it was only put it like on paper. And also with space with any comments from the players himself, from the others, from the coach, and etc. And after that we were like updating also with the test we were able to do live, because we had the huge possibility to have 5 of us with also the coach and the sub and other players to play live and like complete almost all the testing we were needing. So after that we were like almost all the colors were like revision in some way. Tommaso especially, Zanco and me were like updating and revisioning all the colors. And I think the most important thing was to have even not all the pairings prepared, but we have like sure colors. So we had like faith in the matchups we were thinking. So when the moment was to choose between an opponent or the other, we were like we were sure of our matchups. So that was the main thing for the pairings on the day of the tournament.
Alessandro, Vito in the comments is saying that you only had one color. Like, I know what that means, but what does it mean?
It means that basically every time that we were like in my matchup, they were like always like optimal matchup. So my color was starting everything with like an orange that is like not very good matchup. And then white was like everything is maybe the yellow. But
your audio is cutting out.
It's not been easy to like Marco and Tommaso change this without me know. But let's just say that arguably in the world like nothing. So I mean, we know that we have for like
Hai l'audio che va e viene.
Yeah.
Oh, can you do better now?
Not quite.
Quite
I'm saying that we knew that with the first order the games were not good overall, so we knew that, and we actually bring this list that was studied for let's just say give more space to the player and let's the variance with the dices. So it was like a sort of list of fairly bad against everything, but not super bad against everything, and very good with something else. I don't know if I explained myself, but it was like a sort of like zone, red zone, in which you have like a decent chance to lose the game, but you can do something to try to win the game.
Marco e Michele.
Yes.
Which one were the hardest pairings to define in the whole tournament?
You mean as a team, or you mean as like single matchups?
No, like defining the matchups, preparing for the actual matchup. Which ones did you have more
I
difficulty
think
to
that
prepare?
some teams were like easier, also fastest, because they had lists that were common, or at least that were like common to see also in single players tournaments, or that were already tested for other countries, or against which we played in a group stage, for example. So I remember, for example, Ireland or Singapore were using lists that we kind of knew. So they were like faster to put colors on. Other countries, like for example USA, they were using, I think all 7 were unique lists. So we had actually to prepare against each of their lists only to play against them. So it was like tests only for that single player. We couldn't use the test for other countries. So it was for sure more time consuming. We can make other example. For example, some of the lists from Spain, for example, Decimeter, Suntrifel was a unique list or something like that. They were like uncommon lists that we had to prepare for just for that single possible matchup. So like having 7 players or a lot of players to play repeatedly against that matchup, and knowing that maybe only one of them was facing it, so it wasn't like ideal.
Michele, in your opinion, which other difficulties did you have, or is there a particular matchup that you remember being extremely challenging?
Not extremely challenging indeed, other than what Marco said, but I think that the 2 matches that we knew that we were supposed to lose and for the group stage pass the turn, or for the final stage won the tournament, I was afraid that the situation that we didn't need 4 winning matches put us in some bad situation during the pairings. Indeed, we lost both matches with Polonia in Poland in group stage, and Singapore in final stage. We won one, and we passed the group stage in the other situation. But I think that we were not in the correct mood, and we risk something at mental level in that match.
Yeah, we weren't playing like the others. the other matches we were like playing to win only what we needed, not to win it like win them and that's it. So,
and that put us in a really risky situation indeed. Everything went good, so it's okay. We don't need anything.
Well, I mean, I prefer to be in a risky situation and have to win 3 games than being in a risky situation and have to win 4 games. So
That's true.
I'm not. I mean, I'm a different opinion. I have a different opinion about that.
But I mean, truth be said, we lost that match by a final salvo, because otherwise he would have gone for 3 the other way.
Oh yeah.
So basically, it wasn't like he just needed 2 games and we lose 5. No, that was really close, nonetheless.
I know, but the thing is that I saw that the concentration wasn't the same of the other matches.
Yeah, I know. I had kind of the jitters. I don't know how to say that. I was really stressed about that matchup because I asked for it. Like I said, Michele, give me fire sprays, and I kind of prepared for them during the lead up time to the event, but that was the first time I faced them in the whole final stage, and actually that was the deciding win. And when I posted it and Bartosz said that settles it, my God, was I walking 3 feet off the ground? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, honestly.
Nobody could, I guess.
Yeah, we were realizing it. I think that Tommaso asked me to remake the count about 10 times because he was still playing because Tommaso matches practically never finish before the 75 minutes because it's really
a war of attrition.
The way he play aces to finish before the time was running up, and it was we won. Please remake the count. We won. Please make again.
Yeah, and I actually saw the other live streams of the event. Like I saw Gold Squadron, I saw Bartosz and the Woken Gaming stream. Everyone was doing the same thing, recounting, because that was
I can tell you what happened on the other side. What happened is that in the morning, as you are aware, we had an issue with tabletop TO at the beginning of day 2.
Yep.
What happened is that we could not generate the new rounds. So we had to disturb Dennis, the developer of tabletop TO, and said, "Hey Dennis, we need an emergency fix. Please do something." To make the new pairings work, he had to deactivate the team ladder. So the team ladder was not automatically
calculated.
What then happened, like after round 7, was that the captain from Norway, I think, Toby, was keeping track of the wins, and we're at the HQ were keeping track of the wins, but the 2 tracks were not the same because he didn't know that a few games were inserted wrong and then they were corrected.
Okay.
So what happened is that some people was counting on his numbers and then adding our numbers. So there were these 3 ladders circulating and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, but they have these wins. No, they have these wins. No, they have these wins." So it was a real mess. And when Michele asked everyone, "Hey, can you double check and confirm and stuff?" The first thing we said at the HQ was like, "Okay, hold on. We are recounting every single game from round 1." Because it would have been feel bad to say, "Hey, team, whatever, you win." Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, that means after that. Yeah, you don't like there was at the Oscars, like something like that happened a couple of years ago. Yeah, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was something like that. Oh, it was Miss Universe. I don't remember, but yeah, that should feel really bad. Yeah, but we're champions of the world. We simply are. So, yeah. And truth should be said, I have to really, like, Vito is making a really good point here. And I think that Singapore...
Sorry, the one about massive... No,
no, I think...
The other one.
Yeah, I think the one about Singapore. Yeah, because I think they totally deserved to be in the top spot. Like, I think the second spot would have fit better. I like not putting down USA, but Singapore was such an underdog from the group stage. Like, no one was counting on them passing the group stage. Everyone was betting on Poland and maybe us. And they showed they can really play this game. Yeah, I don't know about that. But they can really play this game. That's why he's an excellent captain.
They absolutely can play this game, and they have, through the years, show that they can play the game as well as everyone else in the world, sometimes better than everyone else in the world. But I think that they were most looked at for passing the turn than us. I think that the real underdog of the tournament were us.
Yeah, because I wasn't part of the team, so that's something that Alessandro and Marco could say better than me. But there were issues in the last XCTC participation in Team Italy. Like we all know that it didn't end like they wanted to, even though the amount of work put into the team was the same, because I know them and I know they really cared about it. And so, yeah, we had like this mindset of being better than last time. Like, we have to make up for it.
Yeah, that for sure. Also, the common feeling between team members was different. And another thing that was a little different was the attention on pairings revision, because like every single color this time was like revision by me or the others. So yeah, we were like a lot more confident.
So
yeah, I remember it.
After the input of the players, you were reviewing their input, so to check the colors they put. Okay.
I just say this. Yeah, he reviewed my color. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Talking for me, and I can tell 99% for Marco too. Being in Krakow during the last XTC, I mean, personally, I was like feeling that after that experience, that I would never, I don't want to be like in a situation like that before again in my life. So probably this year, the drive, my drive, and I think Marco drives too, was like totally in another level, because arriving pretty much like as last in the previous XTC, I mean, nobody probably at the start of the tournament would have like bet that at the end we win, but I think that after the group stage, it was clear that I mean, I personally say that that we were like the best team, because we were the best team, and Zanco is my witness that prior to the final stage, somebody asked like, would you sign for like being the top 3 team? And I was probably the only one saying no, because I was sure that as quality and as like level of game, we were in the first 3, so I wouldn't sign for like being in the first 3, because I really want to win the tournament.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
The thing is that I thought that we were in the top 3 since the start of the group stage or the final stage. But if I have to be sincere, I was putting ourselves in 3rd position, because I know that we can make some mistakes that brings us there. But then we were able to succeed. The thing really important also about the situation post Krakow is Piffo, can you please put on the picture of the team with the flag that you
Sì, just un momento che la recupero. Yeah, go on. I'll take the picture in 1 second.
Yeah, but we need the picture, of course, because it's
okay.
About the picture. Okay. Okay, wonderful. Obviously, in this picture, you can see that we are missing Graviolo and we are missing Benna because they were at their home. This is Casa Italia. Can you see the flag that is ultra folded? You can see the sign of the folding of the flag. Then that flag, it's in my suitcase since Krakow.
So it's been
the same
2 years.
Yeah, it's the same flag that I brought to Krakow back in 2019, and that because I thought at that time that we were able and ready to do something good. Indeed, we didn't, and this flag was the heaviest part to bring all over Italy in my suitcase for X-Wing, and this is something that it's unpayable. No, you cannot pay money to have an emotion like that. Unfold the same flag that reminds you what you have done in the worst way in 2 years before, and you have done in the best way now. So it's
and also all the things that were like on the road.
Yep, and everything that we made to build it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that was an even bigger event this time, because we didn't play against just the European scene plus USA that participated in the last XTC. This time it was global, and global means that teams like USA, Singapore, and Peru, which happened to be second, third, and fourth, showed up, and they were kind of a tough cookie. Yeah.
They were a big tough cookie. So that's to go back on what I think Michele said earlier. The fact that some teams were considered underdogs, like I think that maybe some people across the ocean was thinking that Peru might have smashed it, but not everyone. Like definitely the crowd in Italy wouldn't have bet money on Peru, I think. The fact that some teams generally have lower exposure abroad because maybe they have a fewer number of content creators, or they have less international events hosted in the country, so there's not much travel and exchange of players and so on, kinda contributes to creating the underdog status. This is obviously not to detract from Team Singapore or any other team, but this is to remember that Singapore had a world champion, 2017, Justin Pua. The separatist player for Singapore this year was his brother, that I assume he's pretty good at X-Wing because he also trained the former world champion. XY, he has won, I think, a System of Series or
Australian SOS, yeah.
Ok, he won the Australian SOS. In Italy we say non è l'ultimo degli scappati di casa. He's not the last ones that fled home just yesterday. I assume that also the other players are quite skilled and invested time in prepping for the tournament. But, as I said to Giovanni in the beginning when we were off air, I mean, it was kinda easy to know for me what was going on with Team Italy, because obviously we shared the same Facebook groups and stuff, so I knew that they were preparing a lot. What I would like to state is that both the XTC and the recent Europa Cup, I think they are the demonstration that consistency and preparation really help to win tournaments. Because to rack up wins, you need to play a lot. All of you stated that you prepared for months. Giovanni played 2 games a day every month. Alessandro played maybe tens of games to prepare against specific matchups. Tommaso was preparing the others and fine-tuning his Imperial Aces, while Marco was working on the pairings with Michele. I mean, it was definitely a team effort, but it was not a team effort just on the days of the tournament or the days you were playing. It was a continued team effort from even before the tournament started to the very end of the tournament itself. I hope you do agree with this statement, and I would like to know if you agree with the following statement. Is it possible that, taking into account that some teams might have been, overburnt by the length of the tournament, but some teams maybe lacked the consistency in preparation and repeating matchups and repeating games and so on and so on? To what extent this has affected other teams, in your opinion? Obviously, in a respectful way.
Who takes it? Who takes the question?
I'll answer
one in line.
if you want.
I think so. I think that given we were, I don't know how much the other teams prepared, but I think it's hard to guess that they prepared more than us. At least at least a quantity more to be meaningful. So I guess that we had an advantage for that against all other teams that have not prepared that much, which was mainly in the group stage, but also into the final stage sometimes.
Yeah.
And also I think one major point that got us an advantage was not changing the majority of the lists, because a lot of teams switched lots of their list and they had just 2 weeks to prepare for playing that, and some occasion they did good, but some other were a disaster, and that played an important role, because it's not easy that the list that you have played for months is going to perform worse than a list you are just practicing 2 weeks against top level opponents all over the world.
Yeah, to add to your question, Filippo, I would say that I just would like to add that I know that burnout could be a thing, but I think that I say always to newer players when they approach bigger tournaments, endurance plays a big role in X-Wing.
Yes.
When you played those 6 rounds in 2-day tournament, so in the first day you play 6 rounds, by the end of round 6 your brain will be melting, and that's the same thing with the XTC. So endurance must be rewarded in some kind. So that's what I'll say.
Yeah. Alessandro, you were gonna say something?
I personally think that is laughable. The fact that some teams are addressing being tired because the tournament was long. I mean, we played all the same tournament, so as you played for 6 months, we played for 6 months. So it's not that we had a break of 3 months in between. We played the same tournament, so it's actually laughable, and I think that is more an excuse than a real thing, because it's easy to try to find excuses. But at the end of the day, it's really we played the same tournament, so you cannot say, oh, we are tired. Well, we were tired too. We played for 6 months. Everyone was tired, and there were people actually playing at 3 a.m. in the morning. So
No, that kind of was on the same flat plane for everyone. When I say teams were burned by the length of the tournament, is that we as a judge team experienced kind of the same, because the group stage was really long, and then there was a pretty long break before the final stage.
I mean,
So
indeed was a long tournament, and was like, we were all exhausted really at the end of the tournament because at the end of literally at the end of the tournament, we were like, all of us were exhausted. It takes me like 2 days for like basically going back to my baseline. I'm not joking, but was like having like a second job this tournament for like these months, because you were like squeezing a game anytime you had like a couple of hours off free. So indeed was like very we were very tired, all of us.
Definitely. So you guys refer to not changing the lists. In retrospective, Marco and Michele, is there something that you would have planned differently for the final stage? Maybe a different squad, a different team, a different pairing?
But we had some thought to change Tommaso list. He made some tests, and he felt more comfortable with the list that in the end brought, and also is one of the favorite list of Marco. So both the captain and the player agreed that the two list, the list to choose was one. So we didn't discuss.
If I have to be honest, I consider it as an option to change imperialist, but I wasn't like never.
Yeah, you were never. Yeah, but it was the only thought about that, because except for the rebel list that we saw that indeed token beef is not so solid as it seems to be the first time you see it, and then we found this list, but it's not only a matter of the list, but it's also a matter of the way you play the list that Giovanni in the end used. The other list, I think that they were quite perfect, I think, for the way we play.
Yeah, for our game plan, yeah.
Yeah, we had two anvil, two hammers, and three lists that can do anything in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Retrospectively, one could argue that we could have changed our 5 plays, because it was really difficult to pair them during the tournament. Because like in the final stage, every team had at least 2 unfavorable matches for 5 players, so it was really hard to have a good game with them. But I think that even if taking a lot of bad matches, having the separatist 5 plays helped us like to force pairings, not for 5 plays themselves, but for the others. So, and also other options from separatists weren't as good as 5 plays for us. So yeah.
That was a particular decision, because many other teams aimed to change their separatist list, bringing a separatist counter to the fire sprays, planning on matching them up all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, but we won, so we were right.
No, but the fact is, if you bring something, like if you bring fire spray, you force certain matchups, and like Marco said,
yep,
you know that during pairings they will try to get that matchup, and so you can leverage that and like sneak some other matchups that favor you. So in the end, if you send the fire spray player to a lost match, and you gain 2 wins by pairing other matchups, the math works out. You're up 1 game. So
Yep.
you just as Michele likes to say, you don't need to win 7-0, just the snout. So
yeah, that's the whole thing about the team tournament. You don't need to constantly table your opponent. You just need to win the match. That's the first one.
Also because sometimes, as Giovanni just said, but in particular, there were some other teams that brought some meta counter to fire spray. Someone brought something that thought to be a meta counter to fire sprays and didn't succeed in that. For example, the 4 HMP that I do not see the counter for fire spray in that list anyway, but they were obliged to avoid our fire spray, and sometimes when we came at the last pairing, I was flanking Marco in that. We were pretty much sure of what the opponent team captain was about to launch at us, because we had the separatist fire spray there, and they were I don't know, a scarecrow for some lists, and we were practically certain of what was going to happen. So they were used also for that. I mean, separatists became very, very limited after this tournament. If you see on 9 separatist player on 10 separatist player, only 2 succeed in 6-3 total matches, and 1 in 5-4. All the other one were worst. So I don't think that was a very good situation. Also, if you decided not to bring the fire spray, more or less there were not so much separatists as leading their teams. Okay. So I think that the choice indeed was right, because we used the separatist list as leverage, and this was a winning trigger for us indeed.
Okay. I didn't really think about the review of metadata right afterwards the tournament, but that's a very, very solid consideration. One last question. Let me see if I find a decent thing to ask. Do we have any of the viewers? Un commentatore che vuole porre una domanda alla squadra, una domanda seria alla squadra, a serious question to the team.
Yeah, I think you lost them at serious.
I lost them at serious. So, XTC 2021 just finished. It was a long experience. Is there something about the event itself that you would like to address or to maybe suggest for the next edition? Because there are many things in the works, and I mean, feel free to suggest. Icho is an sorry, Zem is trying to address the fundamental issues with X-Wing. Idest considering Icho an ace.
Obviously not. It's not even a question. It's not an ace.
Against PS1, 2, and 3s, you can be PS whatever. If you're 4, we are an ace.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, that is fair.
So, talking about what I would address, I would latch on to something I heard from the English players. I loved the online format. I hope that there will be an online format for XTC 2022, hopefully, because I don't want to lose the occasion to play against people like Peru, USA, Singapore. So that's what I value in this thing. What I would like to address was the length. To be honest, if we could do like the qualification process like cramped up in a weekend, like weekend group stage, a month of pause, final event another weekend. That would be, I think, less taxing on everyone's mind.
Because I mean,
that would be mine.
It's easy to have a 4 months tournament in COVID time.
Yeah,
it's not that we
not so easy. Yeah,
yeah,
I think
so
you lose track of things, like you lose track of progress, like your mind continuously wanders off to that thing. Like as Alessandro said, it was like having a second job.
Yep.
Like, so,
Marco definitely had a second job.
Yeah, he did.
So yes, the length of the tournament is something that as an organization we are kind of discussing. There's many options on the table. Similar feedback has been given by other captains and players, like it would be ideal to have, say, group stages concentrated in a weekend, be it everything together or each weekend for a group stage, even if it gives some teams like more time to prepare and blah blah blah. But I mean, still a game. And yes, there's much more to consider. The length of the tournament is definitely one. Any final remarks before we close the live stream and we doze off? Starting a round robin from Marco. Any final consideration?
I think we actually sum up all the experience quite well. If I can just describe an episode, I remember the first Monday after the group stage ended, and it was like I was feeling like lost because there were no pairings, no matches to try. It was like, oh, vacation.
Okay. Calm and tranquility in my life. What's going on? Michele?
I think I think that when we went in the morning in Casa Italia on Saturday morning in Casa Italia, when we group up, we set up before the first match, I saw a team, and there was the moment that I said to myself, okay, we can win it.
And these are the words of a serious coach. It's like Sarri. At least he doesn't try to punch other players.
Yep.
Former champion of the people, Alessandro Zaramella.
As many of us said already, it was like a very long experience, but I can just say that at the end of the day, it was like totally worth, if obviously with knowing the outcome, I would do like these things again like 100 times. So yeah, and then at the end of the day, there's like there has been like quite a lot of talk around this tournament. Everyone has got their opinion, but the only thing that lasts at the end is like that we won the tournament. So, and it's the only things that I really care.
I mean, it's such fitting that Alessandro would finish with such a remark. I wouldn't expect anything less. I mean,
the real champion of the people.
I mean, I thank you from the new acquired nickname, but I don't feel like I deserve it. Like I kinda hope that my passion for the game and for the team showed in the final event. I don't know if anyone had so much hope into me playing until like I don't know if people believed in what I could do, but
I
In the
don't.
end.
I was honestly concerned.
Yeah, I kind of
It's true.
because I think in the beginning they were sending me like to losing match, and by the end of the final event they were saying, no, give it to Raviolo, like he will handle it. So yeah, it was worth it. As Alessandro said, it was worth it. I feel proud for the team, for my nation, and
He's worth
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Tommaso, your final remarks?
I don't know. I think I can be like I can do something like an opposite consideration to Alessandro and say that yeah, we won as a team, as a team Italy. It was like a fantastic experience. We played well together, and the most important thing is that we respected each other. We knew we were good players, and that we knew that mistakes happens. And in fact, some of us did mistakes in that weekend, and I did one bad mistake. And yeah, it was like fine. Nobody blamed me for that, and I could keep on playing the tournament like nothing
Tommaso,
happened.
nobody blamed you directly.
No, we did. We did. It's just making a show. We did, definitely.
Yeah, but
But yeah, we took it lightly. That's it.
But you know, as I said to Mirko in before the last round versus Singapore, Mirko was a little bit grumpy because he was losing the whole game of day two. He was not in good shape of mind, I think, and I took him by part and I said, Mirko, we are going to lose in 7 and we are going to win in 7, no matter what.
Quindi a questo momento, like in this moment, when you say something like this, I gotta put up a very important speech.
What
That's
is that?
Come what is that? Come what is that? Michele,
I think I know what's
dici-
coming. I think I know what's coming. Yeah.
Se
No.
riesco a condividere lo schermo, ce la posso
I
fare.
totally fear it.
Che è ovviamente il discorso di ogni maledetta domenica.
Inches. No, it's
Lo apprezzeranno anche i nostri amici americani.
yeah.
We like to imagine Michele doing the any given Sunday speech to the team for the whole remainder of the tournament. So these were the final remarks of the team. Again, congratulations to Team Italy, the present ones, and the absent ones for winning the tournament. And obviously, congratulations to all the other teams for being like great sport and demonstrating an effort that I honestly, as an organizer, was kind of unbelievable in the beginning. We did not expect all these people to join the XTC and play for so many games for so much time, and all the streamers. And I think we have about 400 games streamed, something like that, and that's unbelievable for a single tournament. Anyways, next forthcoming appointments. There's gonna be a in-presence tournament, the Raviolo Invitational Tournament, in presenza October 3rd in Rome, 3 ottobre a Roma, torneo in presenza, Raviolo Invitational. Marco Nocera rinomina il torneo 6 obbligato ora perché l'abbiamo detto dal vivo. Then one of our content creators, Arlak, is organizing a team format based tournament. I do not know all the specifics. I know that there's a faction banning system, but all the details you're gonna find them on the Italian and I think also the English X-Wing Facebook group. The next appointment is then a Netflix series based on the life of Raviolo, interpreted by Alessandro Marmorini.
Yeah.
The series is going to be live in 2022. It's the story of a boy who trained so much, who believed so much in his X-Wing skill.
I think Alessandro could be interpreting himself in my story, because that's maybe a longer story. But I am what I am because of him. He showed me, like, he opened my eyes one
one-
Monday afternoon, he opened my eyes to another style of play.
Yeah. The story of Escunizzo that
The story was Cunizzo. Yeah.
Scunniccio passing from the mozzarella to the spaceships.
Yeah.
The only problem is that you'll have to train Alessandro Marmorini to properly train rebels after this tournament. So to be to make a good interpretation. Okay, we have reached 11 p.m. Unfortunately, I have to call the night off, and I would like to thank you for attending and participating to the live stream. Marco, Michele, Alessandro, Giovanni, Tommaso for XTC Italy. Team X-Wing, sorry my words are just bumbling, we are signing off for the night e fino al prossimo video, come ogni volta, ci vediamo la prossima volta. Just cancel. Ciao a tutti e grazie per averci seguito.
Volate a caso?
Volate a
Volate a
caso.
caso tantissimo.